Coming off the vinyl video, I think it's time to actually review these Klipsch. This is, by the way, several weeks later. I have, just so you know, removed the preamp, went to the tubes, and it's just purely that to tube amp, no volume control, just enjoy the music. But I don't think I can do a review like this, so let's move on. That's Ronnie Mukherjee from Blue Scholars. And it's time to focus on these. And they're an old set of Klipsch. I don't think I'd call them vintage. They're like 2011. But a friend who's obsessed with Klipsch, the one who loaned me all the Klipsch thing, was like, you buy these on eBay. And I'm like, why? Because I'll buy them from you for the same price if you buy them on eBay and you could do a review. I'm like, fine. Why are they special? Well, we're going to take the covers off now. These are I think they're the only Klipsch bookshelf that ever featured an 8-inch driver. They're absurdly large. They're not like, oh, they're a little bit big. They're a little bit big. This is like height of Klipsch doing things that was just like, I don't know, let's just make a bigger bookshelf. Do I even have a regular bookshelf to hold up? I guess this will do. It's a little swan. It's a little swan, like 5 1/4. But it's like, It's, I think they were trying to fight with the powers that be that were all like, everyone, smaller speakers, smaller speakers, smaller speakers. But in Klipsch's head, that just meant, well, let's just not complete the rest of the tower. RF7's here. Let's put the top half of a tower and we'll be done with it. We'll front port it. And they did. And I don't know if someone must have bought them. Because if you go to eBay, which is the link that's going to be in the description because you can't buy these new, there's a fuckload of them. So somebody bought them. I got this pair brand new, $600 and some odd. There's pairs in there right now for $600. And if you don't want to watch the rest of the video, you have a very short attention span, buy them. They are a pass. They absolutely pass. I'm actually kind of upset that Klipsch doesn't make a modern revision of this because the RP-600Ms, those are amazing speakers. Now imagine taking that with the most modern design of the tweeter, with the rubberization and everything, put an 8-inch in it, and fuck. One of the reasons I like bookshelves more than towers a lot of the time is literally the reason you're looking at here. This is their top of the line home theater tower. Here you go. Look at it. There's the modern tweeter. There's the 210s, and there's the height, which is fine for sitting. But you know, I'm standing. I do these reviews standing, so you can't stand in front of these speakers and hear them properly. You have to put your head. Giant ball linked in the description. I might as well just make that a permanent fixture. You have to put your head there for it to be correct. And they could average out, you know, the height of every seat and chair and couch in existence. And but a bookshelf, you just buy the stands. And in this case, I built these stands and I made them extra tall because in my living room where the projection screen came down, I wanted to make sure the speakers were at the right height. I've put towers up on boxes and stuff before because, well, I'm Zeus and I can do that sort of thing. But most people are not going to. But a bookshelf, you kind of have to put it up on some sort of stand. And it could be a 36-inch stand or a 24-inch stand or a 32-inch stand. The point is, you get to pick the height. And when you get to pick the height, you get to place that sound field correctly. So for this instance, they're perfect. I unmute the thing. Bestiality, apparently, is what's playing. I've heard that song somewhere else. Was that in Inglourious Bastards? That might be Inglourious Bastards too, because I know he pulled music from all different soundtracks to make the soundtrack for Inglourious Bastards. Anyway, feeding signal from the D1SC to the Taxaritis devices. What's your amplifier number? The Taxaritis devices tubes. I forget the damn model number, but everyone's like, "Oh, Klipsch! Oh, you gotta tube them, Zeos." So here you go. So One of the DACs I actually like, it has no color modes on currently. It actually had the tube color mode on, and I'm like, wait a second, I don't need that. Tube amp. So nothing, no mode, into a tube amp, into these. They're pretty efficient considering that these tube amps are 8 or 12 watts per channel. I think it's low. I think it's 8 watts per channel, which is not like you're thinking like, oh, Zeos, they'll kill you. Skip to the next track. Okay. That's from The Lion King, apparently. Spirit? I don't remember that song at all. Now, I guess the other thing that you could imagine these sound like is exactly the reason that I would recommend them. They are fucking huge. They're also front ported, which is kind of a good thing because when you have a rear ported speaker, let's walk behind the RF7s. When you have giant rear ports, you sort of have to coordinate with the wall the certain distance to sort of make it so that it doesn't just slam the wall and it's too bassy or it's too far away from the wall and it's open. When you have a front port, it doesn't matter. It's redirecting all the pressures forward along with the driver, which means you can push this straight against the wall if you wanted to. Or if you have it in the middle of the room, it's not relying on the space behind it, it's still pushing at you. Not many Klipsches do front porting anymore. I'm trying to think. My brain algorithm is not firing at all cylinders, and it's like, are there any Klipsches that are front ported now? You could tell me in the comments, all right? Because I'm not looking at the entire line, so we're just going to do this. We're just doing it live. So I stand here, listening on tubes, and I think I'm going to pause the video at some point and put it onto the Marantz monoblocks to get a little more power behind it, because the tubes are enough to get it to yell at you. I actually could bi-amp this, because if you look at the back of this, we have top and bottom 5-way binding posts with the word Klipsch there. So these are for the horn, and these are for the bass driver, and you can get the bridges in there and you do them both. If I wanted to, if I had the desire, I could tube the horn and then solid state the bass driver and then split my outputs. And then the only problem with that would be there's no way to adjust between the two for balance, because neither one of those have, actually, that's a lie. The Marantz in the back has that little tuning volume. I'd have to shut them off a thing and then tune that, but then I have to make it so that it matches that. If the speakers needed my help, I'd give it to them. They don't need my help. The speakers currently sell themselves. They're basically a tower speaker. One of the benefits, when I talked way back in the day about, you know, when I was doing my Reddit guides, it was like, why do you need a bookshelf speaker versus a tower speaker? Why do you want one or the other? And I'm a big fan of bookshelf speakers because of the versatility. Because usually a bookshelf speaker, you know it's going to lack low end, so you need a subwoofer or two. But you get to place the speakers wherever you want, on the stands you want, and then you find the sweet spot in the room to put the low end, and everything is beautiful. When you go with a tower speaker over a bookshelf speaker, the benefit is usually more drivers. You know, here's a bookshelf, it's got 1 and 1. Here's a tower, it's got 1 and 2. It's got more volume to the box. It can produce more low end, and since it has more drivers, it's actually more efficient, which doesn't sound right, but it is, because you throw a watt into that and you have to push that little one driver enough to make the sound blast out, but you push one to that and it's got 2 drivers or 3 drivers or 7 drivers, and it's just like, ugh, and it just easily pushes the sound at you. So you've got this sort of like abomination hybrid where it's got an 8, which if you like, that's 2 5 1/4s. That's a 5 1/4, that's a 6 1/2, that's actually, wait, is that a 4? And that's a 5 1/4, and those are 5 1/4s. So where you would have a tower, a smaller tower, a cheap $600 tower would have several small drivers, or one giant 8. Now, I actually reviewed what were the 3.5s, the little Klipsch towers that they made in the 80s, in the early 90s. That I was like, oh, those are really nice. I wish they still made those, because those were a front-firing 10 and a little tweeter horn on top. So modernize that a little bit into the 2010s. make it a modern ceramic metallic 8-inch in a fucking micro. It's a toaster oven. Can you put 2 toaster ovens up in your living room on end? Then you could fit these speakers. But you get the same forceful throw of volume and low end that you would think you'd get out of like a $600 set of towers. And it's a bookshelf, so you could put it up and move it around, and it's relatively, I'm going to say that word very, very loudly, relatively easy to maneuver. And if you want more low end, you could add a subwoofer and no one's going to question it. I found down here, a lot of times I didn't really need more low end because you got quite a bit of like force coming out of these that you don't need that. Let's unmute this. Let's go next track. Nutcracker Suite. Definitely not what I'm partying to. Command and Conquer Tiberian Sun soundtrack. That's just scary sounding. Oh, God. There is an... Oh, God, no. There is an oh, God presence with these playing down here. And I've listened to a bunch of speakers down here. A bunch of bookshelves on there. And they always seem to have like a line, like, okay, they're going to get this loud. The boot carts get this loud. And some speakers have been impressively louder than I think they could get. Like, oh, it's this. But these get exactly as loud as you would imagine the largest bookshelf Klipsch ever made gets. Just all of it. They get all, and that's not even like a, we're not listening to a Deadmau5 track. This is fucking Command and Conquer. Pharaoh Tech. It's just... It's just making sounds, basically. Oh, God, no.
Smoke from the Lucy drip, hold it like a crucifix. Blow from the nose, I'm a dragon to a no.
It's just, they are loud. If I was setting up a home theater, which I just happened to be doing that, and I wanted something for the front, left, and right that I kind of wasn't worried about blowing up if I really pushed them, this is it. I'm going to end up putting probably those because they're sitting here. But this would be the alternative. And for $600 on eBay, I don't think there's a modern, purchasable new equivalent speaker that sounds this good. And it's doing it with the old school tweeter too. It doesn't have that new modern rubberized perfect shape. It's got the hardened plastic wedge, titanium, like should be murder, but isn't murder. In fact, I'm gonna now, all right, we are at 84 on this VMV D1 SE.
Now for sale, but I'm taking pain back. Cheap, steal,
and I'm going to switch to the monoblocks now, the Marantz monoblocks, and off the tubes, and we'll see where I have to keep that volume to get the same volume. Probably 55 instead of 85, because, you know, power. And it's not like you need tubes with these. I understand the desire for tubes with things like the Heresies, with things like the Fortes. You got those big horns. They're super efficient. These are efficient. Those are super efficient. So you'd want to give them like a nice, like, thick tube bath. I'm sure there's some crazy person in Japan who filled his little onsen with fucking old tubes and he just bathes in the tube glass. Probably not broken tubes, but... I get it. I get the desire for tubes on Klipsch. These, however, probably, if you're looking at this video, you're probably saying, all right, Zio, $600 used. I get them on eBay. They look the part. They look like they're about 10 years old in the design aspect of it. I'm fine with that. They got nice reference grills. If you think you could hide these, you can't. But if you get away with that and you put them in your home theater, you put them on your less than top of the line surround receiver with 85 watts per channel, and you'll be fucking fine because they'll kill you.
Scary, you might have to pull your AK, send one to the cemetery. We overwork,
on the privilege. It's like it's very, 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 very concert levels of shit going on here. Like, I'm in my basement. It's well insulated on the ceiling. There, you know, the air conditioner's running. There's a little bit of background noise, and as soon as you hit unmute on that, everything goes away, and you're like, "Oh, speaker." Let's change from Korn to Pacific Rim. Wait. Ugh. Wait, I can skip through tracks with this remote. I was avoiding it. Perfect. What is this? This is Gustavo Santa... What? Santaolalla. Santaolalla. A Saturday in My Classroom from the North Country OST or OS. And this is the thing, I know people that are watching this like, Klipsch, bro, hard rock. And try them with shit like this. Just the delicate, like, string instruments. It kind of sounds like the Deadwood OST. Who remembers HBO's Deadwood before they canceled it? Those fucks. I haven't seen the movie yet, by the way. They can deliver such delicacy through those horns. When you get them loud, they get loud. They push, they scream, they'll do anything you want. When you could find the right thing on a solid state, and it's just like, ooh. Obviously that will work on a tube too. I don't use the tubes enough. I really need to use the tubes more. Joker OST. Yeah, now these are probably... Alright, I'm gonna go on a limb here. Because I know Klipsch. I talked to Klipsch. Klipsch didn't send me these. I bought these with my money, and my friend's gonna buy them for me with his money, and everything's gonna be great. Klipsch, bring these back with modern stuff. If you could make them shorter, because really the thing that makes them huge is look how tall they are. If they were deeper, I wouldn't mind. Like if they went 3 inches deeper and 3 inches shorter, I'd be fine with it. I don't know if they could put the front port, but my word, these would be the ultimate in home theater speaker. These are better for theater, for home theater from Klipsch than I think some of their lesser towers. And even if they came back at $1,000 a pair, we're talking about like, I'm talking about home theater. I'm talking about, this is like the Joker OST. I'm talking about you're sitting there getting just absorbed into an explosive movie. Oh, Jurassic Park's right below it. These have an energy behind them that you can only get from a giant fuck you speaker. You don't want to be there. I don't recommend these for near field on your desk, by the way. Oh, speaking of on your desk, you know what I fucking found and it's hilarious? Scoozy. So there they are on eBay right now. Ebony pair, $5.98, free shipping, free 3-day shipping. I'll try to link to either this exact one or just the results of everything. I found this right next to it. 2 8-inch wooden bookshelf speaker stands for the RB-81 2s, which is what these are, by the way, in case I didn't mention that at the beginning of the video. Because these are the RB-81 2s. So, I'm going to end up buying these. They're $60 in free shipping from California. Because that's the one, like if I can get I got 24-inch speaker stands, I got 36-inch speaker stands, I got like 32-inch speaker stands. I don't have any 8-inch speaker stands. And the thing is, if that image is correct, those are fucking huge speaker stands to be like if the base is, I don't think it's correct. I think that's some other thing. But they says specifically for the RB-81s, and I'm just like, what? At what point do you need to lift these up 8 inches? That feels like something when you're on your desk, you need to go up 8 inches. It's pasta. So that's just a little funny note that I found. It was like, what the fuck? And there's actually on eBay a whole bunch of different size stands specifically for these speakers, which is why I believe it might have been Klipsch making an attempt to sell a speaker that was going to replace their towers. And I would have been okay with it. If Klipsch only sold mega towers and then this speaker at like the top of the line with different size stands, that'd be fine with me. Because I think that would work out better. And I'm gonna clue you in on a bit of knowledge that you kind of know already, but you're in denial about. When someone's like, oh, I don't have room for towers. They're too big, they take up too much space. Here's the thing. This speaker stand, which I know is a little bit absurd, but any speaker stand that's taking up, you know, a foot by a foot or 10 inches by 12 inches on the floor, and then raising up and then including a speaker on top of it, is basically taking up the same amount of space as a massive tower. Because there's this thing on the floor, and then it comes up. All you're losing is the air volume of the middle of it. So when people say, oh, I'm going to get bookshelves and not towers so I don't have the room, that's bullshit. You're bullshit. You're lying to yourself. A tower takes up the same amount of room as a bookshelf on a stand. It's just a matter of, like, visually that looks bigger than that, even though that is blatantly 14 inches taller and arguably has less power behind it because there's less drivers. So don't give me that bullshit. Don't give me that bullshit. Don't give me that bullshit. A tower speaker and a bookshelf speaker on a stand are exactly the same. If I took a fucking sheet and hung it over that and put a sheet over one of those, you'd look at them and go, oh, that one's bigger, and obviously I don't want that big one. I'm going to take the smaller one. And the smaller one would be a fucking RF-7, and you'd be like, oh, shit. So I don't know why I'm arguing now for towers. I just hate that argument. I hate when people say, oh, I can't fit towers. I'd rather just have bookshelves. Even the smallest bookshelves on a relatively small stand is still taking up roughly the same footprint, maybe 2 or 3 inches different in any direction. But now, these, I'm going to actually be sad when they're gone. I'm running them on the monoblocks. I ran them on the Taxaritis devices. Achilles fucking came back to me. I was running them earlier when I did the review of this, the VMV-A1, the little Class A, and I think I might like it most on that. I wanted to give it a run on the tubes. I wanted to run on the monoblocks. Something about that VMV-A1, mark my words, which costs $660, which is $60 more than it costs to buy these speakers. Yes, of course, that is mostly like a desk amp, and I don't know how the fuck you would... You're not putting this on a desk. You're just not. That's Hakjuji Mayu. Yeah, everything sounds super impressive and large on these, and that's because they are super impressive and large. Like here, take your hand, and I have a pretty big hand, and just do that. And if you can just barely cover the driver and the horn, you probably have a big fucking speaker going on. It's like I can cover the entirety of this speaker. Just $600. You're looking for a used speaker? Here it is. You want me to do more used speakers? As long as there's several of them on eBay, and I can link to them, I'll do it. So just, there's some speaker out there that you're like, oh, Zeus, you gotta try the blah, blah, blah. Because this blah, blah, blah in 1997 was the absolute tits. There's 37,000 of them on eBay. Because everyone bought them. Why is everyone selling them? Because they're too fucking big. They can't handle that. Anyway, I'm done with this review. I would love to just gush more, but if you want to see me gush, check out the sound demo, which is on a separate channel now. The sound demo will be linked in the description, and you can go over there and subscribe to that channel. If you want sound demos and reviews, I was considering moving the yard sale stuff there, but I need people to see it, so it's still going to stay on this big channel. Because yard sale brings people back to the Patreon, and it's a whole fucking thing. In the meantime, Patreon subscribe stars, see reviews early, participate in yard sales, which obviously my friend's buying these for me, so you're not. But other things get dropped in that shelf, which is the yard sale shelf. $10 a month gets you in the private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat, where you could ask me any questions you want. And you say, hey, Zeus, you have those speakers. Have you tried those speakers with that amp down there? And I'm going to be like, no, would you like me to? And they say, please do, because I want to know exactly if I can fit with volume. I'll do that for you. That's what the $10 chat's for. To talk to each other and to ask me for special requests. Check out Hi-Fi Guides in the Hi-Fi Guides forum if you want more and more reason to just buy things. Like right there, the low rumble of the Bloodborne Hunter. I can't play too much. But yes. Patreon subscribe star, $10 chat, Hi-Fi Guides in the Hi-Fi Guides forums. Wallpaper, available in the description. That one's been staring at me for a while, and I'm just like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm using you, fucking godlike being. We're done. We're done with you. You're in the done folder. All wallpapers available in the description. I'm done, you're done, we're done. I will see you all in 2 days. It won't be in 1 day. If I see you in 1 day, is that tomorrow? I feel like 2 days is like 2 spaced days. It won't be tomorrow. It'll be the day after tomorrow, which is a terrible movie. I'll see you then.